Hi, my name is Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. Hopefully you're already a subscriber, but you definitely should become one if you're not, so you learn more about marriage. Because this topic, which is dealing with cultural differences in marriage, by itself isn't such a big deal. You're fooling yourself if you think that, oh, otherwise we have a great marriage. No, you don't. Because marriage is intended, it's designed to be lived on a plane of love and harmony filled with joy. And the outer things that come in that you think are affecting that harmony, that joy, and that love cannot. Because the soul is where, and this is not a religious discussion, don't misunderstand, but you live your marriage in love, joy, because it's part of you as a soul. You, the soul, are the embodiment of love and joy and actually wisdom and consciousness. And that's where you're supposed to be living your marriage. And when you are, it isn't just cultural differences, but it's the little attributes that each other have, the so-called flaws that you notice in each other, the disrespectful comments, all of these things that come on the mundane plane, the outer conditions, can't affect you when you're properly, and I'm using that word intentionally, when you're properly living your marriage. So this is an indicator. It's not the cultural differences. Now, I've seen cultural things, or at least what people say are cultural things, that have no place in a marriage. One time, this is way back, I've been doing this for a very long time, and it's probably 20 years ago, and I used to be a divorce mediator, but 20 years ago, let's say, I got a call from someone who was referred to me to help with their marriage by a man who's got me on his speakerphone in his car, he and his wife, and he says, look, I just want you to understand, I'm not going to indicate what culture it was or anything, but he said in our culture, hitting one's wife is perfectly acceptable. And I just want to make sure that you're okay with that. And what I said to him was that it is not acceptable for you to strike your wife or for your wife to strike you, because it represents an underlying sense of difference between you in terms of your stature. Well, again, love has no boundaries. And the connection between two soulmates is infinite, but it's infinite love. It doesn't take into consideration those kind of cultural differences. So if you, and it doesn't matter what the culture is, if you lift your marriage to that level of love and intimacy, and I'm not talking about sexual intimacy, I'm talking about that intimacy that the souls have, which is what you're supposed to have, then these cultural differences don't really exist. If anything, they create kind of humor and an interesting aspect of your relationship. So that's it. So dealing with cultural differences in marriage, in a nutshell, is lift your marriage above those. Live your marriage where it's intended to be lived, in that state of joy, that state of love. Now, we are starting to train people to be TMF marriage counselors, and at the Marriage Foundation, we don't do therapy. All we do is marriage counseling. As I indicated before, I used to be a divorce mediator, and I saw with my own eyes for years how traditional marriage counseling, which is what they call it, but it really isn't. It's a form of therapy. It doesn't help couples. In fact, just about every one of my clients came from therapists who had failed. And now we don't have failures at the Marriage Foundation. When people take our courses or read the books, it just helps them uplift their marriage to where it's supposed to be. There's no room for failure when you really know what you're doing. So what we're going to do now is I'm starting to create a course for training individuals who want to, I don't want to say spread the word, but I want to help people with their marriages. And not just help save their marriages or help little things, but help them see what is possible. Marriages are amazing when you know what you're doing. So check us out at our website if you have an interest. Again, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. Again, you should be a subscriber. And again, like this video. Okay, that's not an again, but like this video, leave a comment if you wish. Thank you for visiting. God bless you and take care.